What up, and welcome to the Rival Fantasy Baseball live stream of the week. I am Neil Maligno. He is Bryan. Hold on. What up, Bryan?
What's up, Neil? How you doing today, man?
Not much, man. Figure we'll start with some air horns. I'm excited. I'm excited, man.
It's a good day.
Excited. You get to talk about baseball. It's that time of the week.
Yeah, I mean, what better job that we just get to sit here and talk about baseball, right? I mean, it doesn't get better than this on a Monday.
It doesn't get better than this, man. And how was your weekend, man? Everything was good?
Everything was good. Got to watch Paul Skenes. We'll talk about that. It was a good baseball weekend, and just all around really nice. Weather's starting to change. It feels like summer. It's starting to finally be that time of year. So
yeah, it is.
Can't complain. How about you, man? How was your weekend?
Hey, man, pretty good. Pretty good, busy, but good. Basketball tournaments, kids, life, but it was good, man.
Never ends. Never ends. There's always something going on. This
is true. This is very true. And what is going on is we got some stuff to talk about, man. Like you said, I mean, Paul Skenes, Taj Bradley, the Bradley boy is going to talk. I mean,
we don't talk about Taj Bradley.
There's a lot to talk about. And of course, I always want to remind people before we do get into the conversation, thank you everybody for your support, for your constant, love in the comments, your questions. Yes. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching this right now, whether you're watching it live or you're watching the playback, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I think we're creeping up to like 600.
We're getting there.
So be a part of that, man.
Help us get there, please.
Yeah. Be a huge part of that. Hit that subscribe button, like this episode, all that good stuff. And of course, when you're watching the show, if you want to follow along on another level, you can download the Rival Fantasy Sports app or go to rivalfantasy.com and actually play games that we play here on the show, from best ball to challenges to bingo. It'll help you have more fun. It's interactive. You can, participate in the chat. We will save questions for later in the episode. So if you guys drop comments in there, we will answer those. But other than that, light cleanup, housework there. It's time to get into some Rivals of the Week, man.
What a week. What a week. We got some old favorites making a return.
We do
to fantasy relevance, which is really great to see. So yeah, man, should we start with Eddie Rosario?
I think we should.
Mr. Rosario coming back. So just a little caveat. Anyone who goes and looks at the game logs and the stats will see that he was batting like 083 before this last week.
Not good.
It was rough. And for whatever reason, the Nats were like, nope, this 32-year-old vet, we're going to stick with him. He's going to stay in the lineup. And that resulted in 7 hits, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, and 7 runs scored, plus 3 stolen bases last week, which was good for I believe, platform high 93 fantasy points on Rival Fantasy last week.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't. I mean, you don't get much better than that out of a player who has been struggling. Could be a flash in the pan. We don't know, but you ride the hot hand in fantasy baseball where you can. And Eddie Rosario definitely had the hot hand last week.
Yeah. And if you're new to the show and you're like, what are the Rivals of the Week? What are these guys talking about? Eddie Rosario just is the definition of it right there, man. Those stats, guys who helped you win this week, whether it's in your season long, whether you're playing challenges, bingo, whatever the case may be, these guys that we're going to talk about, we like to give 3 hitters, 3 pitchers, and we got honorable mentions, but these are guys who had, phenomenal weeks, whatever which way, some of them we like to throw surprises in there, guys who they may not have been like the best player that week, but they're just a newer name to the list. You like to shed light around there. So, so you'll hear some different names. So Rosario definitely leads the list. But another guy on here, Taveras.
Yeah, Leody, Taveras. I mean, my God, Taveras. I never know how to pronounce that name. It always change the accent. It's like, I mean, it throws me off completely. I'm way too Anglo-Saxon to understand. But no, 9 hits, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 9 runs, 2 stolen bases. So 80 fantasy points on Rival Fantasy last week. Just another testament, right? And we'll talk about another guy here in a second. But the Rangers are also a team who just next man up. They got a lot of depth on that team. And, they just kind of cycle through who's having really good performances and who isn't. So, not surprising to see a Ranger on here. And, Taveras just had a phenomenal week. So good source of power, good source of scoring runs too, which was nice to see. Again, you guys will notice these guys are doing it all, right? These anytime a Rival of the Week appears, they tend to be doing it across the board, which means they were really good for both roto and points.
Exactly. And there's actually another Texas Ranger on this list who hit number 3 on this list. And he actually has more hits than Taveras had.
Yeah.
Man.
Marcus Semien. Sorry, I cut you off, man.
More familiar.
Yeah, more familiar. We love Marcus Semien. So he had 13 hits last week, which is nuts. 2 home runs, 7 RBI, scored 8 runs. I will say, to be a Debbie Downer, he did have 5 RBIs in 1 game alone. So, cautiously optimistic about it, but 89 fantasy points on Rival last week. So, Semien, since he's been with the Rangers, he's kind of had slow starts, and this year wasn't as slow as 23, but a little bit slower. And he's starting to come out of that shell again, which we're not surprised. He's done it for years now, and he's just a stalwart in the fantasy space. So no surprises with Marcus.
Absolutely. And again, for someone who, has had him all season long, maybe you're like, a little frustrated, you're waiting for it to break out. Now, again, if you're playing challenges, now you're like, hey, it didn't affect me that he hasn't been hot all year, but now I get to use him. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Now I get to start breaking them out. So that's the fun part about the challenges with guys like this when they start hitting well. Some honorable mentions. I mean, first of all, this guy could have been on the list, but he was just here last week. So second week in a row, Brent Rooker. Just still continues.
There is value. There's fantasy value to be found in Oakland, apparently. So we like it. We love to see it. He just keeps doing crazy things at the plate.
Yeah, so definitely impressive. Sorry, Brent, that you couldn't make the list again. We don't like to, double people up, but another guy who is a frequent visitor, and I always put him on there half jokingly just because it pisses people off sometimes. But Elly de la Cruz, 6 stolen bases last week, man.
I mean, what more can you say? There? What more can you say? He's the epitome of that hitter who's like batting average doesn't matter because he's just so good at baseball.
Yep.
That he can strike out. Whatever. If his batting average is 250, I don't really care. He's still a fantasy stud, especially in cats. So
he's definitely one of the most exciting players to watch. So he's going to continue to make our list. A name that I thought was a little interesting, Kevin Pillar, man.
Yeah.
This was only 15 at bats, but he was productive.
And I believe he was DFA'd a couple weeks ago, and then he was claimed by the Angels, which made sense given everything with Mike Trout, with him being out. So he's known as being a defensive guy. He's always been like Gold Glove caliber every year he's played. But he had 9 RBIs, 2 home runs, scored 5 runs, and he only had 15 at bats. So as a platoon guy, that's pretty solid to see out of a guy like Pillar.
Yeah, that's a guy that's played on like 8 different teams, man. So it's good to see him have some success.
I can't even keep up, right? That's why I was like, I don't even remember who DFA'd him and how he got to the Angels because he moves around so much.
Yeah, 35, playing for 8 different teams. I mean, it can get confusing. Hard to keep track of these guys.
Yeah.
So shout out to him, and then Paul DeJong, 8 hits, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, 7 runs. A noteworthy week for sure.
Yeah, guys just keep going to Chicago, playing on the South Side and performing. So, and we're going to talk about somebody too later, Tommy Pham, but like we're starting to see this with some of these vets who are brought into Chicago to kind of plug the holes that they have in the lineup. And, this is just another example of Paul DeJong resurging for a little bit.
Yep. And then just some usual suspects, guys that are, we can talk about these guys kind of week in and week out, but Bryce Harper had a strong week. Aaron Judge, your boy Kyle Tucker. Some really good weeks out of all these guys. And it was a really good week of baseball, man.
It was a great week of baseball. And we're starting to see we'll see it in the rivals of the week with the pitchers, but like you're seeing the dichotomy, like a very hard separation of like guys are raking. And then pitchers are striking guys out at crazy rates, and there isn't a lot of in between. We're not playing a lot of small ball unless you're Luis Ariz. So, really, what more can you say about guys like Judge and Harper and Tucker?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. So we knocked out the hitters here. Let's talk about some of these pitchers, man, because there was a few 2-win pitchers last week.
Yep.
A couple of other guys who they got 1 win, but there was some guys with a lot of strikeouts. It was pretty, well-rounded week for pitchers. We'll start with you, Darvish. I put him at the top of the list just because, we know the past, the injuries, all this kind of stuff. So I thought it was kind of a little feel-good thing to see him kind of bouncing back right now, doing well. 2 wins, 0 ERA, 12 strikeouts, not a ton, for 2 games, but still pretty overall, really strong week for him. And to stay healthy, it's good to see.
Exactly. And the Padres need it. Like they have a great offense, as we know, but they cycle through pitchers having injuries. Joe Musgrove still on the shelf, right? So good to see Darvish do it. And he did it yesterday against the Dodgers. 7 innings, 2 hits, I believe, no earned runs. I mean, and Ohtani didn't play, which we'll talk about, but that's still impressive. It doesn't matter who you are. Like a 4-0 win against the Dodgers, very impressive. I believe Freddie Freeman and Will Smith both went 0 for. So anytime you get both of those guys, doing 0 for stuff at the plate, very impressive showing.
Yeah, for sure. Another guy on the list, Louis Gill. Did we talk about him earlier in the year?
Yeah, we talked. He's had, he's kind of been just slowly ascending. He's kind of on that tick, tick, tick of the roller coaster when you first start coming out of the gate, and he's just been really solid for this Yankees rotation. And they, we said at the beginning of the year when Garrett Cole went down, they needed guys to step up, and Aaron Boone is just all of a sudden this season it's clicked. I don't know if it's the health of the offense or if something else happened during the offseason, but 2 wins, 0.75 ERA. He only had 8 Ks, but he's not a strikeout guy anyway, so that was good for 43 fantasy points. Just again, the rich get richer, right? The Yankees keep winning, and they just have more and more guys that are noteworthy for fantasy.
Absolutely. And then the last guy who made the list, Zach Gallen, another 2-win guy, 1.5 ERA, 10 strikeouts. Again, these guys got the wins. They didn't have a lot of strikeouts. None of these guys really did. I mean, 12 was the most for Darvish in 2 games, but still 2 wins. I think it's notable. The ERA was kind of low, so I think they did pretty well overall. But what do you think about Zach Gallen?
Yeah, it's just good to see him bounce back. He had a little bit of a rough patch. He left one of his starts a few weeks ago. I don't remember what the discomfort was, but had some worries. I think it was a hamstring, but I'm sure I'll be corrected in the comments. But yeah, he was a guy I thought had Cy Young caliber stuff, and I kind of had him on my short list. I think that has fallen out, but it's he was a guy you drafted to be the ace of your fantasy staff. So good to see him get back on track as Arizona might be figuring things out. And, if Eduardo Rodriguez ever comes back, maybe their pitching staff will be solidified. But Gallen and Montgomery, I think, are starting to figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just some quick honorable mentions. Seth Lugo had a win, 17 Ks. Not bad.
Pitched, I believe he had 12 strikeouts yesterday. Longest start of the season for the Royals. So good for Seth Lugo turning back the clock a little bit. Good to see.
I'm always going to say it. Former Met. Always, it's going to be my caveat here. I'm always going to do it.
You have to. I mean, when they're farming out to other teams, you gotta point it out.
And listen, it's all we have to hang our hat on right now. Like, we haven't won in so long. Like, you got to give me something here, guys. Give me something.
Look, it's just proof that the Mets do know how to pick talent. They just move it too quickly.
Exactly. Also Bailey Ober, Minnesota, 17 strikeouts. Also,
he was one of those like post type sleepers during the offseason, and I don't think anybody's surprised. It's the Twins are getting healthier on the offensive side, so that's good for their pitching staff, and Ober is able to be a little more comfortable up there, it looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just more kind of usual suspects, but Luis Castillo had a win also, 15 Ks. Dylan Cease also played well, win 12 strikeouts. So just, the more household names, but, good to see them, playing well again as well.
Yeah. And we are not talking about Dylan Cease enough, like we aren't talking about Shohei enough.
Yep.
It's Dylan Cease is just, I don't know. He's gotten lost in that sauce somehow, but he's, I think you can argue he'll be on the short list for Cy Young if he keeps this up. He's looked excellent so far.
Yeah. And that's actually our second Padre in the list today for pitchers.
It is.
So, you mentioned
they had a really great week. They had a really great week.
Yeah, not too bad. All right. So, I think that's it. I think we covered all the rivals of the week. Shout out to everybody who was mentioned. Shout out to all those guys. An impressive week. Hopefully it helped you guys win whatever, whether it's season long or games on Rival Fantasy. Shout out to those gentlemen. Now, we have a bunch of news to get to, man.
It's we could do it just an hour on news and interviews. Really,
I feel like that every week. That every week.
It's just so before anybody comes for us, you missed this, that, the other thing. Both in news and in waivers, we know.
Yeah,
We're not trying to forget anything. There's just a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we try to spread it all around, like through all the different, segments of the show, and we try to, get as much of it in as we can. But it just continues to pile up, and we continue to, get through what we think is the important parts as quickly and effectively as we can. Of course, keep it entertaining. So we'll start with possibly the most entertaining player in baseball right now, Paul Skenes, man. Just made his MLB debut. We've been talking about this, I feel like, since the season started. Like, when are they going to bring him up? When are they going to bring him up? They're only pitching him for 4 innings, this, that. Yep. And finally, we had our moment.
We did it.
Finally got it.
We made it, y'all. We got here. Paul Skenes debuted on Saturday. And look, if you just look at the box score, even if you just look at the box score, it's still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So he went 4+. He didn't finish the 4th inning. He got into some trouble and they lifted him. I think he hit 84 pitches or so. 84, 85 was his pitch count. 17 of his pitches were over 100 miles an hour. So just, if we're going off of whatever that math is, right, whatever percentage of, 17 divided by 84, I think it's like 20 something percent of his pitches were over 100 miles an hour. So that's disgusting. Good luck. And, he worked out of a bases loaded jam in the second. He actually worked around the top of the Cubs order super well, which was impressive. So he looked confident up there. And I will say, not to be this guy, but his 1 earned run was like a little iffy. It was a Nico Horner home run that just squeaked over the wall in left center. So, he's going to get tagged more in MLB, right? Like he's not playing against the kids. But this was still very impressive for Paul Skenes. So he left the game up 6-1. He got a no decision because the bullpen gave it up. Then there was a rain delay. It was a very strange game once Skenes left, weirdly enough. But they ended up with the win. The Pirates did. They just didn't get the win for Skenes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure Livy Dunn fans out there are excited, man. It's going to have the same effect. Not the exact same effect as Travis Kelce's situation, but
But it's good.
Listen, I was on a show last week, shout out to Toilet Titles, and I mentioned it. And the guy's like, I didn't know if it was cool for us, to mention it, a bunch of 40-year-old guys or whatever. I'm like, she's got 5 million followers. She's super popular.
Yeah,
like, come on, man.
It's good. It's good for a younger generation too, right? Paul Skenes is a young dude. Livy Dunn is very young. I think they're both like 22, 23, right?
Yeah.
So, it's good to have this injection of like youth into the sport, and good for them. One hell of a power couple.
Yeah, exactly. It's like one of those things where it's like you don't see, unless you're following baseball accounts and you're following those kind of things, like you don't see a lot of people in pop culture talking about baseball. Like it just is what it is. Like, so it's cool to see, whether it's just because of a relationship or whatever it is, like players getting talked about. Like, because unless it's a scandal or something happens, like it feels like a lot of sports news and pop culture is towards basketball or football. So it's like it's good to see the younger generation, like you said, getting familiar with it, whether it's just
however we got to do it, man. However we got to get eyes on baseball, we'll take it.
Exactly. So shout out to Paul Skenes. So it'll probably only get better, right? It's only uphill from here. So shout out to him. But I think you covered everything you could cover about Paul Skenes' first appearance.
I'm just gonna say it real quick, like that 1-2 punch. If Skenes stays up, which I don't see a reason he wouldn't. So like Skenes and Jared Jones now.
Yeah.
And Jared Jones wasn't supposed to be what he is.
Right.
And if it stays that way, that is a nasty 1-2 in rotation.
That's a lot of fun.
That's filthy. So the Pirates are going to be fun to watch for a long time.
Yeah, no, definitely. Again, I'm always going to divert to the team that I watch, and that's the Mets. And it is a horrible staff to watch. A bunch of old guys that just give up 6 runs a game. And so I only can envy watching teams that have these young pitching guys, aces, and it's just
they went through the ringer, right? Like the Pirates have been struggling for a long time. So it's, congrats to the fans. You get to see something now. If you guys would look, I love McCutchen, but you can't have McCutchen bat and lead off if you want to contend. I'm not trying. I said it earlier this season. I love Andrew McCutchen, Hall of Famer in my opinion.
You did,
but I just don't know how you can have a guy batting 172 as your leadoff hitter. So that's neither here nor there, but the Pirates pitching staff, bright future ahead.
Yeah, it's not all greatness right now, but the pitching staff is fun at least.
Yes.
All right, there are a lot of names. Of course, there's injuries, but there's also guys coming back from injuries, right? We got to cover both sides of it because we got to be happy about something.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guys coming back from injury. Start with Brian Bello.
Yeah, had a nice return on Sunday. So I'm just gonna put it on a t-shirt. The rich get richer. The Red Sox rotation so solid, and now Brian Bello's back, arguably their best pitcher on paper as far as peripherals. So yeah, good to see it. I think he's, if somebody dropped him for whatever reason, go pick him up. To me, he's like an auto start until further notice.
Gotcha. That's good. And what about Pete Fairbanks?
Yeah. So, relief pitching, if you're in holds plus saves leagues, your ratios for your rotos and your categories. Fairbanks came back, had an arm nerve issue. So he was on the IL for a little bit, but it looks like he's probably going to slot right back into taking the bulk of the save opportunities for the Rays, I would imagine. So that bullpen is always a little nebulous. You can kind of just pick one and see what happens because they tend to be pretty good in general. But yeah, Pete Fairbanks is back, so good to get some reinforcements in the relief pitching department.
Absolutely. And another guy, an outfielder who actually, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Like a gift and a curse. Yep. Christian Yelich came back, which dropped down your boy Tyler Black.
Yeah. So I'll take like a half victory lap on this because I did say that when I was asked to like rank, the prospects, and Black was in the list, and I put him at the bottom purely because I didn't know where he would fit in the lineup. And this kind of proved that point, right? Like they didn't have a spot for him to hit, so they sent him back down. I'm sure he will get another chance to come back and prove his stuff this season. But yeah, so Yelich is back, which is great for those of you who invested in him as a post-hype, sleeper. He's solid.
Playing well too.
Yeah, he's Christian Yelich. I mean, look, I know he had a couple of bad years after the back stuff and the injuries, but he's still Christian Yelich. So you'll love to see it.
Exactly. Blake Snell, not back,
but coming back,
getting there.
Yeah, so he made his first rehab start. I put it in. I wanted to talk about it because he threw an immaculate inning. So 9 strikes, 3 outs. In low A, I think it was a low A. Who cares? It was single A, right? So like, not a big deal. He's Blake Snell. He should be doing this, but just funny that it was even a thing to happen. So Blake Snell, he's on the up and up. We'll see when he makes his return for the Giants.
Yeah, I even seen a headline from the San Francisco Chronicle, and it said Giants Blake Snell overwhelms hitters in San Jose rehab start.
Yeah, well, I would hope that a 30-something-year-old vet would overwhelm the 18-year-olds, but whatever.
It's good to see.
Hey, positive headlines are good regardless of the substance.
Exactly. And the last guy, Bryan Woo.
Yeah. Came back over the weekend and left his start after 4 innings. So if you watched it, he looked fine, but his fastball ticked down significantly in the 4th or the 5th inning, whatever inning he got pulled. And his slider wasn't breaking. And so the trainers went out. He had forearm tightness. They pulled him, precautionary. According to him, when he talked to reporters after, he said that he just got cold because the M's had a very big, I think it was like a 5-run 4th inning. And so they put him up, and he just got cold on the bench, which coming off of rehab makes sense. So cautiously optimistic he'll make his next start, but something to watch. It's glad he's back, but really hope he didn't re-injure himself in any way.
Okay, perfect. Also, just kind of curious, off topic a little bit, but not off topic because Bryan Woo was a Mariner. But me and you spoke before the season started, and I'm like, man, the Mariners pitching staff looks really good. Obviously, the starters are highly highly rated. How do you feel up until this point they've done so far, just as a group?
Yeah, they've underperformed for sure. Like George Kirby still has insane command, and Luis Castillo still looks like Luis Castillo. Like I don't think there's any underlying issues. I think this might just be another product of a slow start, which was something we did see last year, and then they ended up almost winning the division, right? So it was by a half a game, I think, during the last game of the season that they lost it. So, or not them, but they were in that three team race. So with the Rangers and the Astros. So, I think the M's, they're going to go back to the mean. I think they will perform better than they have pitching wise, but it hasn't been bad. It has just been underwhelming.
Right.
So
yeah. That's what it says. I was just curious what your
Yeah.
thoughts were, in terms of how
when you're a highly touted staff like that and everyone expects like 3 Cy Young contenders to come out of
Right.
your rotation,
Right.
like everything is going to be underwhelming and underperforming. But
Yeah.
all in, I think they're doing fine.
Yeah. All right, cool. We do have some injury problems that have occurred, not guys that are coming back, but guys that are now getting hurt. So where do you want to start with these?
Man, let's start with the Giants. They got the 2-for-1 special over the weekend. So Michael Conforto went on the IL with a hamstring, and then it was either Saturday or Sunday. I've already forgotten. Jung Lee, who is their big offseason signing from Japan. He KBO. I'm sorry, I forget which one he came from, but their big international signing of the offseason made a play at the wall, and then he dislocated his shoulder. So, that's 2 outfielders down for the Giants, 2 of their starters, which is not good. Jung Lee was also performing very well. He was a great points. He was just kind of steady across the board. So, don't really know what the Giants are going to do here. It's going to be interesting to see how they what their next man up situation is in the outfield. Do they put Tyro Estrada back out there to try to give him a little more run? Does he stick at second base? Is Mike Yastrzemski going to be kind of that cornerstone now in their outfield? So we'll see what happens. But the Giants offense, which was already struggling, takes another big hit here.
Yeah. Sucks because they started off so hot, man. We talked about them early in the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we sure did. So
so it sucks for them. One team that has dealt with a lot of injuries also, like players come back and then they lose one, it feels like every time. So Danby Swanson, Cubs, take another hit, man.
Yeah, he so Craig Counsell said that Swanson, they were taking precautions with his knee. He had an injury and it just wasn't getting better. They thought it might be like 2 or 3 games just on the bench and he'd be back. Not the case, unfortunately. So it sounds like the knee got worse before they put him on the IL. I wouldn't expect to see him do a minimum stint. So just if he's your starting shortstop, you're going to have to make some adjustments, which is going to be tough at this point because shortstop is kind of thin right now. It's deep from a DFS perspective, but from a season long, it's hard to find a guy that you can just plug and play.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And then with the Braves here, it looks like the Braves also have some concerns. I haven't seen an update on it yet in terms of the situation with Austin Riley. Brian, did we lose you? It looks like we lost Brian. He looks frozen over there. We lost my boy. It's all good. Let's try to give him a second here, see if he recovers. If not, we'll just jump right back into it ourselves. We will see here. Nah, looks like he ain't gonna bounce back. Looks like his computer or internet or Wi-Fi took a hit. So we will single-handedly solo roll through some of these news until Brian comes back. We'll wait till he comes back. Austin Riley did leave the game for the Braves. He had some side tightness. Again, I haven't seen an update yet on it in terms of how much longer he'll be out, how long he'll be out for. There hasn't been an update yet, so just keep an eye on it in terms of how you manage him going forward. You don't want to get stuck, especially if you're playing, challenges, best ball, these kind of things. You don't want to get caught with one of those situations where he's out and you don't have that guy in your lineup, so you can't replace him because it's too late. So just keep an eye on it before the games play so you don't make a mistake there. And then the last one is Yoshida, Red Sox. He's getting he got a third opinion on his thumb. He won't opt for surgery, which I guess is good news, right? I mean, you can look at it both ways, right? You can look at it as this can continue to be an issue because he's not doing the surgery, but it's also like, well, it's minor enough potentially for him to try to play through it. So, you get the play now, you get the production now, but you just hope that it doesn't get worse and that you lose him for a longer period of time because he's opting out of, the surgery. So we'll see how that pans out. Just some other quick hits, guys, for injuries in terms of players around the league that you want to keep an eye on, who may have been missing some games recently. We got Shohei Ohtani, who did miss Sunday with back tightness, likely to return Monday. So, we'll see how that plays out ultimately. Obviously, you got to care, right? And this is for all games, whether it's fantasy season long, whether it's challenges. When I'm playing best ball, when I'm doing the challenges, Shohei is a guy who gets drafted in every best ball draft. When I'm doing challenges, people are, putting money on his side. So again, pay attention to it closely. Just see, but it seems like it's fine, but just pay close attention. Grayson Rodriguez could be back Wednesday after missing 2 weeks with shoulder discomfort. Likely, we'll have a little more time, but still, I want Grayson back. I want him back. He started the season so well. Again, another guy that I was using like crazy on Rival Fantasy, rivalfantasy.com. Go check it out. But hopefully Grayson Rodriguez can get back here. Wednesday is the preliminary day right now. So hopefully that stays true to it. Mike Trout, we did talk about him the last few weeks, me and Bryan. He was given the option to actually DH or, and play through the tear or, get surgery. He actually opted for the surgery. I wanted to get Bryan's take on that. So I hope he gets back soon because I wanted to see what Bryan thought about this. We did talk about it on a previous episode, how bummed out we were for Mike Trout. He was playing pretty well this year. Obviously, these injuries keep affecting, his potential legacy. I see a lot of people, debate it, argue it, where does he fall on the line of, his outcome for his career when it's all said and done, and how much these injuries that just keep kind of popping up affect him. But again, he decided not to play through it. He did get the surgery. Now, this is kind of like what I was just saying with Yoshida. You have a guy who one opted for the surgery, one didn't. And we'll see, hopefully both made the right decision, obviously for themselves, but for the rest of the season, how it plays out for them, how the end result is. And then Dominguez starting his rehab stint. Yankees have 20 days to add him to the active roster or option him to the minors. Of course, Dominguez, a very popular player for the Yankees, a very, a guy that we're just kind of, trying to see where it all, falls, of course, at the end of the day for him. So I'm still checking on Bryan. I think he's back. I think we got him in action.
The beauty of doing it live, guys.
You're back, my friend.
I apologize. Thanks for bearing with me while my internet decided to take a little vacation.
Hey, listen, we didn't know if you were going to Austin Riley us, man. Like if you were leaving for the game or if you were coming back.
Yeah,
so I kept rolling without you.
Good. I'm glad. You guys don't need me. I'm just here. I'm just here for show.
No, I did run through the rest of the injury quick hits.
Good.
But I did want to ask you about two things on here.
Yes.
Mike Trout, what is your thought on how he opted for the surgery?
I think it's a product of the fact that he's just a gamer, man. Like he wants to be out there doing the whole thing. It's better for him long term because if he got this surgery during the offseason, he would miss more time next year playing the outfield. I would assume it's tough to bounce back from him in it. No, I think he did the right thing in general, but it's just there's no right answer, especially for the Yankees. Like, what are they doing? We don't know what that team is going to look like over the next couple years.
Okay. And then one other guy, Dominguez. What are your thoughts on his whole situation?
I mean, he's a stud.
Yeah.
I think, he's built like Juan Soto and Aaron Judge together. I mean, he's just a brick house. I think he will be back this season. This is a product of, or it's a question, I guess, of, is he going to do the Bryce Harper thing, right? He had basically Tommy John on his throwing elbow, but for fielders, which I believe he got a brace in it. So it's like Tommy John light. But, is he going to be able to bounce back the way Bryce Harper did is kind of the question. Or are they going to let it run its course so he can actually play in the outfield a little more effectively long-term? So I would not be shocked to see him after that 20-day window be in the minors for a little bit, just so because they don't have to rush him. The Yankees are fine right now. They are not in need of reinforcements as of this conversation. So
absolutely.
If I'm them, I'm not going to rush a guy who's still arguably a top 10 prospect in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have a couple more random headlines before we get to waivers. Starting with your Astros. Also, I just want to mention to those in the comments, we will get to your questions. We try to save them for before we go to challenges and all that kind of stuff. So Michael, Todd, I see you guys in the comments. If you're still there watching live, We will get to your question. If you're missing this, you could watch the replay and we'll have your question answered on there. But again, on to some of these really quick random points you want to hit on. Your Astros, man. A little bit of a silver lining going on.
Just a little silver lining. So, like we said, Kyle Tucker, he's leading the MLB in home runs. So, the offense looks good. And JV, Justin Verlander, turned back the clock against his old team on Sunday, 7 shutout innings. I thought, he might go 8, but he creeped up into those 90s. So the Astros are being cautious with him. Just really good to see. I mean, when Justin Verlander wins, we all win. It's just fun to watch a 41-year-old do what he's doing. So
Absolutely. I wish I had a silver lining for my Mets. I mean, I guess Brandon Nimmo hit a home run last night.
He's not hurt. Yeah. So Brandon Nimmo came off the bench and he wasn't hurt. So that's a big win.
Trying to squeeze a silver lining in for my team. The Padres shut out the Dodgers on Sunday. We kind of mentioned it.
Yeah, we talked about that with you, Darvish. Yeah, just good to see these old guys turning it back and doing what they do.
Absolutely. I know you mentioned here Ohtani, his gambling scandal is already getting a TV show. I have not read enough on this.
So an article on The Athletic that I read the other day talking about, I don't remember, I think it might have been Paramount or Lionsgate or someone. But they have already bought the rights to the story, which I don't know how you do that when there's no book or script or anything. So we're gonna get a scripted TV show about Ohtani and Ipe Mizuhara. So kind of weird. We'll see what happens. At least it's an original story. At least we're not remaking something for the 14th time, but. Yeah, just strange that this thing is barely done. I still wouldn't even consider it done. And we're already figuring out how Hollywood's going to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I'm looking at NBC Los Angeles right now. It says Lionsgate Television announced on Thursday a scripted series is in development. It will detail the story of Ohtani signing a record 10-year, $700 million contract with the Dodgers just before the news broke one day into the season. Yeah. And, the whole Ipe thing. And then it says, this is Major League Baseball's biggest sports gambling scandal since Pete Rose. And at its center, is its biggest star, one that MLB has hitched its wagon on. Albert Chen, one of the show's producers, said in a release, "We'll get to the heart of the story, a story of trust, betrayal, and the trapping of wealth and fame." Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll give it a watch. I still think it's too early to understand what the all the details were. I feel like I feel like we still have some time to figure out all the nitty gritty. But yeah, just a really bizarre, strange thing happening with the Ohtani story.
Yeah. And then the last thing, Mason Miller.
Yeah. So apparently the Athletics are already getting calls for him. Makes sense. The Athletics are not in a great way, and Miller is under club control until 2029. So, but it sounds like the A's asking price is exceptionally high, which rightfully so. But I've seen articles saying that it would be something to the equivalent of the Padres trading Jackson Merrill to acquire Mason Miller, that the Orioles would have to include someone like Colby Mayo in a trade for Mason Miller. So if it does happen, which, if I'm the A's, I'm like kind of hitching my wagon to Mason Miller, making him kind of one of the faces of the team as they relocate. But we'll see. We'll see what happens at the trade deadline. So just an interesting story to watch for fantasy.
Yeah. Always love some trade deadline news, man. Some trades. Yeah. I love trades in sports. It's one of my favorite things.
And MLB trade deadline is usually so juicy. It's so good. When it's
absolutely. Right, so. All right, cool. So we got through the news. We got through the crash of Brian's computer.
Yeah.
We
survived, guys. We did it. We're all right.
We got through the rivals of the week. And now, man, we are turning our attention to the waiver wire.
Let's do this. So yeah, we're gonna start with a guy who was in our rivals of the week. I'm gonna ride the hot hand, like I said. So Eddie Rosario, outfielder for the Washington Nationals. The last week, his last, I think, 5 games he played last week, hitting nearly 500, 400 BABIP, and 3 stolen bases. So he struck out only twice in those 5 games as well. So very nice uptick for him. His season-long BABIP is 169, so he might be a little bit of a dicier pick in a roto situation. If you're worried about your your average if you're playing in a batting average
Right.
league, right? But as far as points go, I'll take the shot on him. He's not striking out, so he's not going to get you negative points, which I like in most formats. So I'll definitely take a shot on Rosario, especially if you need outfield help. If you're in a 5 outfielder league, you can do a lot worse than him right now. And then if he starts struggling, he's an easy cut. So this is a high, low risk, high reward situation.
Yeah. Shout out to him, man. It's good to see it. Like I said, like we said at the beginning, man, it's good to see this stuff happening.
Yeah.
We do have an Astro who made the list.
Yes.
And a big bad Astro.
And I did this purely because of the bat flips. If you guys aren't watching John Singleton hit absolute nukes off the bat, you should be. The dude's bat flips are ridiculous. They're so fun. It's so fun when John Singleton hits a home run. So the reason I put him in here, though, is he's a good source of power, which is hard to find sometimes on the waivers. So he's going to probably be a better points guy, or roto leagues if you can punt a little bit on your batting average. So he's not going to be a great hit for average guy. He's going to hit for power. He's going to get you some ribbies based on where he's hitting in that lineup. And it's also interesting because he has taken the first base spot. So when Joey Loperfido got called up, we thought, maybe he would split time with Singleton. He would platoon in the outfield as well. He's just been an outfielder so far. So this is Singleton's job to lose as of right now, which doesn't mean much for the Astros considering their record. But, go watch the bat flips. Go to Twitter and watch the bat flips. It's worth it alone to have him on your team.
Gotta have something to watch, man.
Yeah, right. You gotta have something to cheer for.
You gotta have something to watch. So. Another guy on the list, Max Kepler, hitting it. He's hitting it, man.
I feel like this happens every season. Is we just like leave Max Kepler for dead, and then we, May rolls around, and all of a sudden he just comes back into fantasy relevance, which is what he has done here again. 14-game hitting streak. Sub 17% strikeout rate. So I think he's a better points player than a roto player, but especially if you're in a 5 outfielder league or you need some outfield reinforcement, just grab Max Kepler. He's not flashy, but he's going to get the job done for you.
Yeah. Hey, Twins have some things to look forward to right now, huh? Max Kepler. We just talked about what's his name earlier, the pitcher, Ober. Yeah, so they got some highlights in the episode. We haven't talked about the Twins players in a while on the show, so
no, they've struggled, but there's a reason the Twins have won the AL Central the last few years. They always figure it out. They're a good squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another guy on the list, Josh Rojas, Seattle.
So former Astro. So I'm doing the Neil thing now.
There we go.
But no, he's got so JP Crawford is out right now. So Rojas got bumped up to leadoff over the weekend. So that plus the fact that he's second base and third base eligible, I think is really good for Rojas if you need a middle or a corner infielder. I think he's probably going to be good regardless of your format. And he could lose time as he regresses, but he's not chasing as much as he has historically, which has been really good. His chasing strike rate is much, much lower than normal. So ride the hot hand. It's a good lineup. He's hitting at the top. So he's going to score some runs. He's going to get on base. So solid for Roto in that scenario.
Yeah. Since I'm the guy that always brings up, former players on my team, let us know in the comments, man, when you see a player go from your favorite team to another team, whether it's a trade, whether he just leaves in free agency, whatever it is, do you guys get like, are you hateful towards the player? Like, do you get a little salty about seeing him play well? Are you happy for the player? Like, I'm just curious what most fans feel. Cause I of course feel bitter over here when a player leaves the Meds and then they go out there and they're balling all over the place. But I'm just curious, like, are most fans happy for the guy or are they bitter like me? I'm just curious, So drop it in the comments. Let us know. So we have some honorable mentions too, right?
Yeah. So, and you'll see a lot of these guys in the waiver wire article that will go up after the show. But guys so just so everyone knows too, I'm going to caveat some of these are likely stashed or on other rosters, but sometimes they got released as a result of injuries. So like Zach Geloff, the second baseman for the Athletics, he played 2 games this weekend in a rehab assignment. Would be shocked if he wasn't activated this week. Check if he's available, right? We didn't talk about him last week, but Jonny DeLuca for outfielder for the Rays. He's getting a lot of playing time. He's been really solid so far. He's performing across the board. Really like what he's doing. And his mustache is just like, it's classic. So definitely love that.
Yeah.
And you got guys like Zach Neto, shortstop. Like I said, thin position on the waivers. Abraham Toro for the Athletics as well. He's getting a lot of playing time. And then Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham, great categories guy, plays for the White Sox. He's going to play. Like they signed him to be their everyday outfielder. So don't shy away from Tommy Pham right now.
Absolutely. And I think actually, if I recall properly, in our comments last week, there was someone who said LaDuca anyone. So,
yes. No, DeLuca.
That's one of those things too. Like when we drop our waiver episode or from this episode, there's always comments about players that we may not have either mentioned or we glossed over. So he was one of the guys that did get mentioned from last week that I remember.
Yeah. No, and it was a good call, and he's been performing. It's hard when you don't know if a guy's going to have an everyday spot. So I think DeLuca is working his way towards that. So I think we can confidently pick him up now.
Yeah, and a nod to the chat. You guys are smart. You guys are good at this, man. That's why I like our
smart people in here.
That's why I like the people
no
who
watching Rival Fantasy.
Yeah. If you're watching this show, listen. I see you in the comments. I see you in the chat live. I see you in the comments after the videos. You guys are on the ball. You deserve some air horns for that, guys. Definitely got some of the best viewers out there, man. It just is a fact. It's a fact. Straight. You guys are on your game, man.
Damn straight.
How about some prospects?
Yeah, so it'll be a repeat from last week. I'm going to get the name correct. Junior Camarino, third baseman for the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't know how they don't call him up soon. I think they're just not getting the production they need out of that lineup. They need a spark, and I think he'll do it. He's making AAA looks silly at this point. So let's get him up. And then Orelvis Martinez, I believe I'm saying his name right, infielder for the Blue Jays. The dude is just mashing baseballs. I think he already has 10 home runs. Like he's already in double-digit homers. And I think it was like 30 something games in AAA so far. So look, I know he's got a high strikeout rate. Like he does chase a little bit, but he's a kid, right? Like that's what happens with these young players. So I would be shocked if he's not up by probably mid-June. So go ahead and I think you can stash him unless you really need the bench spot.
Yeah.
And then, last, sorry, go ahead, Neil.
No, I was going to say, these guys you're mentioning, like you said, like what they're doing right now in the minors is undeniable. So at this point, it's just a wait and see thing. Nothing else you could do,
It's a when, not if.
Right.
So, and then last, Tyler Black, we mentioned it. He got sent back down due to the Yelich activation. Again, I think he's a good enough hitter. He was also making AAA pitching look silly. So,
right.
This is a product of most likely they want him to stay hot and to keep his rhythm at the plate. So he's going to get sent back down. He's still probably going to mash, and then he'll get called back up eventually, whether that's an injury, whether that's a trade. We don't know what they're in that limbo right now in Milwaukee. Like, are they going to buy or sell at the deadline? We don't know. So could open up a spot for him if they go for broke.
Yeah, definitely interesting to watch. All right. Let's move over to some pitchers, man. See, we got some exciting pitchers on the list here. So let's start with, what do you think? Reese Olson,
man, what a job the Tigers have done. I think we talked about it last week too, but the Tigers just have a really great staff. I think Olson, these guys won't be like super widely available, but I still think they're under 50% owned in most leagues, depending on the platform you play on. But outside of the one bad outing against the Pirates, no more than 2 earned runs in any other start, right? So the staff is really good. Detroit they're staying competitive in most of their games. So I love their pitching, and I'm grabbing a piece wherever I can. And I think Reese Olson is probably the most widely available. Him, and if Flaherty's still out there, obviously go get him too. But Olson's a really nice pickup this week.
All right, cool. Who do you have as your second pickup of hitter?
So this week we got Dean Kremer. I think it's just a joke at this point that every week it's a different Oriole on the waivers. But Dean Kremer has just been really great. He's probably more widely owned as well, but he's not owned enough, depending on the platform you play on. If you're in super deep leagues, right? Like obviously he's going to be rostered. But again, another guy, he had one bump in the road and otherwise around 2 or 3 earned runs per start. His K per 9 is at 9.2. So he's, striking guys out at a decent clip, 1.02 whip so far. So like not giving up a ton of walks and hits, solid categories and roto guy. He's got that lineup behind him. So Dean Kremer is absolutely a guy you should look for on your wire.
Absolutely. And then the last guy on the waiver that made your top 3. Listen, man, I don't know if I should do applause. I don't know if I should do air horns. I don't know if I should do both. But listen, we're the Taj Bradley boys, man.
Taj Bradley boys, victory lap is here. Now, look, if you watch baseball, like obviously this isn't that much of a surprise.
No.
But we're still going to take the victory lap because if he was not rostered, that was dumb. And if he's still not rostered, it's even more dumb. So, so against the Yankees, right? First start, he got thrown into the fire, 7 strikeouts. He gave up 1 earned run and got the loss. So the Rays just absolutely crapped the bed for his first start. But yeah, Taj Bradley he's my top ad if he's available anywhere. There's no reason he should not be rostered. He had a 30% called strike and whiff rate in that game against the Yankees. So if your league mates are sleeping, make sure you're awake and go get Taj on your team. There are very few. I said it last week. Like I would cut some pretty big name guys to get Taj Bradley if I had to, depending on my bench size.
Yeah. And like I said, man, again, this was a good sign for those who are playing on rival games, even for, again, for challenges. Like you're taking all of Taj Bradley sides. Like, it was great to see. Again, I'll be using him in bingo. And then in the best ball drafts, on Rival Fantasy, Taj Bradley is now safe to go, man. Like you don't have to be scared. You don't have to be concerned. Like, again, like you said, they didn't support him on from runs, but like Bradley was awesome, like we were expecting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so. and like you gotta take the good with the bad. Like this Rays team somewhat underperforms on offense, but I don't really care. Like, he may not get the win, but everything else is going to be so good that it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me some honorable mentions. After these honorable mentions, we'll give a quick mention to 2-start pitchers, and then we'll just see what the chat has popping. We'll answer some chat questions. We'll see what they're talking about, and then we'll jump into some rival fantasy games. Let's see what we got here.
Yep, honorable mentions. 2 of these guys, they're just check and see if they're available. Ryan Pepio for the Tampa Bay Rays. He was on the IL. Just see if he was dropped because he will likely be activated as soon as he can. Paul Skenes, if someone dumped him because they saw 4.1 innings, didn't get a win, or 4+, and he didn't get a win, like just pick him up, like just in case. Okay. Then Zach Littell for the Rays as well. And then Sean Manaea for the Mets. Manaea's been really good. So you can't shy away from the fact that he's been a stud on the mound. So I love what we're seeing with him.
Absolutely. And then my favorite thing, 2-start guys, just any that, we should shout out really quick.
Yeah, so a lot of these 2-start guys, remember we're talking about them in a DFS capacity for like weekly drafts, bingo, stuff like that.
Right.
So Shota Imanaga, if I was guessing, I think he should win Rookie of the Year. He might win a Cy Young. He gets 2 starts this week, love him. Cutter Crawford, 2 starts this week, love him. Zach Eflin, 2 starts this week. First start is also today against Cutter Crawford, so that's a really nice pitching matchup. Zach Littell, we just talked about. Ronel Blanco for the Astros. I wouldn't normally put him in here, but he gets the Athletics and the Brewers this week at home in Houston. So 2 really nice matchups for him. And then Jordan Montgomery for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Nice. All right, cool. Let's check. We got through all the stuff they needed to get to, right? We got through the news. We got through the rivals of the week. We got through waivers.
Which can't say we don't do it for you guys. Can't say we don't give you everything you need.
Exactly. No matter what style you're playing. That's what I love about this, right? Like we don't care what style you're playing, whether it's season long, whether it is the rival games, like the DFS type games. Like we're giving out everything for everything.
Yep.
Let's see what the chat has popping. I see some guys. What I love here is I'm looking at the chat and Michael and Todd are helping each other out.
Yeah, man. This is how teamwork make the dream work.
Right exactly. Here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out some of these comments. Again, some of them have already been answered by Todd or Michael in the chat, but we're going to answer them too. So Michael said, "Hey guys, I only have 2 closers at the moment in a 12 team. Wondering, do I drop Alexis Diaz and punt saves? Have Barrios, Gossman, Bassett, Bradley, Bradish, Fried, Bibby, Gallen, Lodolo, and Yates."
First off, congratulations on that staff. That's a lovely starting pitching combo there. So I guess the question is, why are you dropping Alexis Diaz? Is it more to keep these guys active? You have to activate somebody else. I guess I don't really know.
We can go through some of these comments and see what's happening.
Yeah, if we can figure that out, but I wouldn't punt saves if you don't have to. I have done plenty of punt save builds this season, and it's also kind of screwing with my ratios. But that's because my starters have had a lot of blow up games, right? So you're not probably in that situation. I wouldn't if you don't have to. I would maybe try to trade him, package him with somebody else if you can, look for a boost in some other position. But
looking at the comments here, I think Todd's kind of referring to what you're saying. Drop Alexis Diaz, never. And if punt and saves, Yates would be before Diaz. Recently biased with Yates doesn't make him long-term anywhere near Diaz. Keep them both and keep looking for another guy or two.
Yeah, in that situation, I'd even say go pick up like David Robertson and then like hedge for the Rangers, like who's going to get the saves because they could kind of bounce back and forth. But yeah, I wouldn't drop Alexis Diaz. I think he's too good.
He also said Jimenez has been underwhelming this season so far. Now Page is on a little cold run. Do you stick with him rest of the season? Someone drop Nolan Jones and Taylor Ward. We're just dropping Pages for one. I know you're a big Taylor Ward fan, Bryan.
I am a big Taylor Ward fan. That's why I did the heavy side. That's a really good question. I mean, Paez he's still gonna be good. He is young. Nolan Jones is an interesting stash right now just because he had such a bad start. I don't know how he could be any worse, especially with the Cruz field effect. But yeah, I would pick up Taylor Ward over probably any of those guys. I think Taylor Ward is probably the best option. So if Andy Paez is the only one you can drop, especially if this is a redraft, like single season league, I'm fine with that. I would rather have Taylor Ward.
Yeah.
So yeah.
At this point, I need to make a shirt that says Andy and then like Pages on a book because I always say Pages. So it's a running joke at this point.
Yeah, there's too many names, there's too many pronunciations. We can't do it, man. We can't do it.
Also, let me see what else we got here. Todd had said Migo, Weeks will be closer in Colorado. Yes, they stink.
If McGill's out there, he'll be in the waiver wire article for the reliever watch as well.
Michael Menendez also said, I think I was overreacting. Again, this is what you were talking about. We also got Todd saying, can I probably guy in Baltimore for a while? Maybe Griffin Jackson. We're just getting some ninth inning work. My Tigers are a mess, but Foley will be a guy again soon if he's out there. Lane walks too many.
Yeah, pick up Foley where you can. I think he's going to take the closer spot back before the break.
Yeah. Good stash. Hopefully all-star break. My starters have been underwhelming for the most part. Yeah. It happens, man. Like,
and look, it's a long season too.
Yeah.
We're not even a third of the way through. So that, and to your point, Michael, right? If your starters have been underwhelming, don't punt on saves. Like try to win saves where you can. And those guys are going to help with your ratios too. So I wouldn't give up on them.
Yeah. And Todd was echoing what you said. He has a really good staff. Michael has a good staff. So, and Michael actually said it's his first year playing fantasy.
Well,
welcome to fantasy baseball.
Keep bragging. Yeah. Very nice. Well done.
Oh, look at Todd here. Never listened to these guys before. Since it's rival and they only do best ball, no ads or drops, are they giving FBC or Yahoo Public League advice?
All of the above. We're giving general fantasy baseball advice. Yeah. So take it for what it is. We're kind of platform agnostic at this point as far as season long goes.
Yeah.
So and a lot of what we talk about though is, like you said, DFS, best ball, for rival fantasy too.
Yeah, it can be applied throughout. It can be applied throughout. Yeah. But of course, we want you to play on rival, Todd. So definitely get on there and play if you're not already playing for sure. Michael said it's only my third listen, but they are solid.
Stop it, you.
Shout out to you, Michael, for being so.
Wow, what a glowing review. These guys are solid. Hey.
They're solid. They're okay. At least hit subscribe though. We'd appreciate that. If Michael's watched us 3 times, you would think he's subscribed, right? But again, man,
time's the charm, right? I mean,
3 times the charm. But again, man, there's so many people who watch, so many in the comments, and so many everywhere, but they're not all subscribed. A majority are. They don't subscribe, but they just keep watching, and it's puzzling. Yeah, I guess if the YouTube algorithm is so good that it continually feeds you what you want, it's like maybe you don't have to subscribe. It's almost like like this weird gift and a curse type thing. You know what I mean? Like, they're always putting it on the front page for you. So it's like, I don't got to subscribe. It just always pops up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, that's kind of where it's at.
Get us where you are, man.
Yeah, but definitely please subscribe. Let's see. Anything else in here that we need to bring up from the comments? I don't know if this Michael Menendez also asked, would you drop Paez to stash Nolan Jones?
I would drop Paez for Taylor Ward first.
Okay.
But I don't hate Nolan Jones depending on what your starting outfield looks like.
Got it.
So.
What else?
And
Let's
then
see.
I think I saw something in here about like a third base candidate.
Let's see.
You know, there's a lot of comments today. You guys are going
This one?
crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So driving Nolan, stashing at grab a third baseman to fill the void. Because I think Michael, you said that Austin Riley might be on the shelf. However, it doesn't sound like Riley's going to miss that much time.
Yeah.
So I don't think you have to worry about it. But we did mention Josh Rojas earlier. Abraham Toro is a fine stopgap at third base as well if you need somebody for the next few days.
Yeah. Also, Mr. Sand. Opinion on Craig Kimbrell and Braxton Garrett.
Braxton Garrett. So Braxton Garrett is tough just given the fact that he plays for the Marlins. But he's a stud. Like he was doing great before he got hurt. So I like him if you can put him on the back of your bench. Craig Kimbrell, I don't know if he's going to hold that closer job down for long. And
he's been blowing
I don't
saves.
Yeah, he's blowing saves. I think he's more hurt than we realize. I think his back is really starting to bother him. And if it's tightness across the top, like his upper back, which is what I've read is the injury, that's going to end up messing with his lats. That's going to end up messing with, the rear delt, which impacts his ability to bring some velocity to it. So I think Cano is probably a good pickup there, just to stopgap that. I would probably, if you need saves, or you're in a saves plus hold league, I think you could pick up Cano pretty easily. And
doesn't it suck also when you're a player and it's like you're like, I love this guy, but he's a Marlin. It's like,
yes,
you got everything except we hate where you're at.
Yeah, it's hard to, like, again, right? It's situational because if you need wins, like that's probably not where you need to go. But if you're punting wins and you just want ratios or you just want really good points totals, then Braxton Garrett is a great option. You have to take the good with the bad there.
Yeah. Michael Mendez said Orioles just said they are seeking help for saves.
Yeah. Which is why we talked about them going after Mason Miller,
right.
Which wouldn't shock me. We'll see what teams are selling at the deadline. But yeah, I think the Orioles are going to probably use that wealth of prospects to go get an elite closer.
John Bartacci asks Alexis Diaz or Duran this week.
Yes. I guess, John, the question would be, are you in like a weekly lock league where you have to pick? Is it one relief pitcher? Do you have other guys who you could start over them? But I like them both. We are now in, this is a territory of like, I don't really care about their matchups, right? Like these guys are kind of matchup proof, especially at the back end of the bullpen. So I like them both. I think they're both studs. So I would not pivot off of either if I didn't have to.
What if I put you in a position, Brian, where you were in a challenge and you had to pick a side?
Okay. See, now I got to go look at my schedule and like who's playing who. So if we're just going off the front of the week, right? So
you're in a rival fantasy challenge and you have to choose between these two gentlemen. Which side are you leaning?
So who do the Twins have this week? I don't even know. I know the Twins are not playing today, correct? So
the Twins have Yankees tomorrow, Yankees Wednesday, Yankees Thursday.
Okay. So that's tough sledding. So I mean, if it's a challenge for today or for tomorrow, I'll probably take Diaz just because the Yankees are tough. And I believe the Reds are playing Arizona, which could go their way, the way the Diamondbacks have been playing. So,
yeah.
And I know, there's conversations like Griffin Jax has been getting worked back into the ninth. I think that's more just because, Clase Doval. Oh my gosh, dude, that is a crazy, yeah. So I guess, yeah. So, and Todd just put in a comment too, like how since he is, right, this is where we have to start being very nitpicky. Since his offense has been very middling, but Durant has been ceding a little bit to Griffin Jax. I would still go with Durant over. If you are putting, gun to my head, so to speak, in a challenge, I'll take Durant over Diaz tomorrow and for the rest of the week.
That's fair. All right, cool. While they continue to chop it up in the chat, what we can do is we can actually go on to our rival challenges and stuff, and while they chat, we can bring them up during the games. That's fine.
Yeah.
So we we're going to move on to challenges. We're going to move on to bingo and best ball, but we will keep you guys, as long as you guys continue to chat live on the show, we'll continue to bring your comments up on the screen, answer questions while we're playing the games.
Definitely.
So feel free to, continue to banter. But for now, it's time to go to challenges, man. It's time to bring up Oh, man. Whoa.
Yeah.
You always want to get your little own sound effect.
I have to, man. I have to. I'm gotta sneak one in.
Let's bring it up. Damn it. Let's bring up some challenges. Let's see what the world has for us today, Brian.
See, this is an interesting one off the rip, right?
Also, John said, thanks, boys. Of course, man. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating in the conversation. Thank you for joining the discussion. Hopefully you liked and subscribed. But John, shout out to you, man. Good luck this week, and continue to chat if you feel like you have any other questions. All right. So I haven't even looked through challenges yet today, so I don't know what's out here.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
But which side do you like? You like the Barrios side?
See, I'll take the Barrios side purely because I think there's value to be had. I think so. It's a trend. It's correlation, not causation. But every time, so Barrios is going up against Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes, every time he's on the bump, the Orioles forget how to hit for some reason. He's just an ace who's not getting run support. So there's something to be said. The Barrios might have their number today. I would just go with that trend, even though it is scientifically and mathematically nothing.
Right.
It's literally just a trend.
We'll have some fun. We'll put $5 on it. We'll take a chance.
Love it.
We'll take a chance and see what happens. Also, just shout out to Todd really quick. He's in here answering questions. Again, I just want to shout you guys out because we appreciate you guys. Not only are you asking questions, but you're being a part of the conversation, which I feel like is even more important. So I just want to shout you guys out. Todd is answering questions in the comments. He knows his stuff, man. He's in there, spitting some fire. So shout out to Todd. He's even, showing love to people, telling them good luck. Yeah. So
we love that, man.
Yeah.
We love
so even though you may not be a, subscribed watcher yet, or you're not sure what we're doing here, Todd, we appreciate you for, checking in and being a part of the combo down there too. Just want to show you guys love. Like you guys show us love, I want to show you guys love back.
Yeah.
Here's your boy Corbin Burnes, man.
Yeah, but Zach Eflin, he's got Boston. That's a tough matchup. Yeah. I would still maybe put $1 on Eflin just to see though. Just again, I don't know why the Orioles forget how to hit for Corbin Burnes.
Yeah.
Right. So
it is what it is. Yeah. Right.
So
let's see
this, there's a lot of good ones. No, you're good, man. There's so many good ones with Barrios. Reynaldo Lopez is a great option, just kind of across the board today. So
yeah,
a lot of good pitching challenges to get in on.
There is lots. You got to choose though. That's the problem.
Yeah. See this one's like a smash for Barrios, easy.
But again, just so people know, you can always go to the player card, kind of figure out what are these guys looking at. If you're not familiar, if you're not sure what Soriano's done recently, you can check the news and notes, make sure there's no injuries going on. The player card provides a lot of intel.
Love it, man. Yeah, so I'll take Barrios over Soriano. I think Soriano will win the game, but yeah, we'll see.
There's lots of fun ones, man. Look at this.
Yeah,
they just keep popping up. We'll leave some of them out there for you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, check them out.
See, hey, look, Manaea, I don't think he's a bad play today. I've said the problem is, so even though I put in 2 start pitchers this week as well,
yeah.
the Phillies have been a buzzsaw for everybody. It doesn't matter who they're playing against; they are just hitting the crap.
Yeah, they're killing people.
So you take the good with the bad,
right?
With those 2 starts. So Manaea, not a great option today, but he's a great option later in the week.
Right, absolutely. We'll look at a couple more of these, and then you just let me know. You said I'm sure you have some.
I do have some. I'm ready to roll whenever you are.
Oh yeah, let's just jump into yours then. We'll leave some of these for the people out here, man.
Yeah.
What we got here? Toilets of Titles. Shout out to Toilets of Titles, guys. Definitely go check them out. I'm 18 points behind Neil in our weekly best ball. Let's go, Paul Skenes, and your goofy mustache.
Hey, that is one of the best mustaches in the MLB right now. I will not take Paul Skenes' mustache slander.
It's funny because I was on the show with them, and we were doing a best ball draft. And before we got to the draft, I'm thinking we're going to do a daily draft. And I was mentioning that Paul Skenes is actually pitching the day of the best ball draft that we're drafting for. So Justin went and drafted him, and I was like, "No, man, we're in a weekly draft now. I didn't know you picked weekly." So it was a little different because he was like, "Oh, you're picking all pitchers back to back to back." I was going for all my 2-star pitchers. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's
But
different strokes, man. That's the
yeah,
thing, right? Different strategies. So.
and he's behind by 18. He said I'm 18 points behind. Okay, we'll see how it goes,
Yeah,
man.
shot. Yeah, shot.
That changes daily, so
Yeah.
no biggie. But shout out to Twists
So,
titles. All right. All right. You said you had some. What
yeah.
do you got?
So tonight, the top rookie of the year candidates, Shota Imanaga versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Okay.
Both of them pitching tonight. I'm going to take the Shota side. I feel
Shota's been on
pretty,
fire, man.
and
Shota's been
even against the Braves, I'm still saying set it and forget it. He hasn't given us a reason to think otherwise.
all right, cool. What we'll do is, guys, again, if you're watching live, if you're not watching live, you're watching this after the fact, check the socials, see if it's still up. But if you're watching live, we'll put 10 on this one.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and drop these in the live stream. So if you want in on it, if you want to be a part of the action, I'm dropping this in the live stream right now. So all you have to do is click on the link that I drop in the live stream, and you can actually be a part of the challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat. Let me see. Right now, let's put it this way. All right. Got it. All right. There's the first one, guys. There's the first one. But Bryan has another. What do we have, Bryan?
So this is going to be the return of the injured outfielders matchup. So TJ Friedel versus Christian Yelich tonight. I think they both have some interesting matchups. The Cincinnati's going into Arizona. Milwaukee's playing at home against Pittsburgh. Who am I missing? Who didn't show up?
Friedel. Am I spelling it right?
Yeah, well, we can pivot off of him. That's fine. Okay. Let's go.
I could just be spelling the name wrong. That could be all it is, but
yeah, I think we could probably go with let's do some Randy Arozarena versus Christian Yelich too. I think I like that as well.
Who is it? Yelich versus who?
Versus Arozarena.
Okay. Give me start spelling it. Start spelling it.
Just do Randy. R-A-N-D-Y.
Randy? Okay. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Well, that's a fun one too.
Yeah, and I'm going to take the Yelich side here. I think
okay.
I'm going to get a little spicy with you.
Yeah, guys. Randy's been playing well too, man. So, all right, we'll put this out there. Again, this is going to go in the chat for you guys. Let me do that really quick. Did you have another challenge or that was it?
I had one more. I got the battle of the catchers, guys who have been outperforming, which has been really nice. So Shea Langeliers versus Cal Raleigh.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me get out of that. I was just putting it in the chat for everybody. Yeah. Also, Todd said Isaac Paredes and Tigers for Austin Meadows. Every Paredes hit kills me.
Yeah, man. That is absolutely one of those. I get it. It's and Austin Meadows was supposed to be great, and he just, things happen, right? That was just an unfortunate one that you couldn't get past, but you win some, you lose some. The Tigers are doing fine though.
And also, Justin said just won $5 of bonus money in the daily bonus game. May as well give it back.
There's that confidence, Justin.
Listen,
that's what we love to see.
I know for a fact Justin kills it on the game, man. On the free card game. He's every time I go on the show with him, every time I'm watching his stream, he's always winning on the damn free card game. So
I know, and meanwhile, I'm just getting railroaded on it, man.
I'm on and off, man. Sometimes I'm hot, sometimes it's cold. All right, what was the next one you said?
So let's do Shea Langeliers, SHEA.
Yeah, right.
Where is he? He was in there earlier when I
SHEA.
Or we could do his last name, which is Lange.
He's not popping up.
Where is he? What? They're playing the Astros today, so all right. Well, we'll move on. We'll play bingo because I'm out of challenges. I haven't gotten any more for today. So
all right, let's move over to bingo then.
Yeah,
man. Let's move over to some bingo action.
Oh, good. We're doing it live, guys. Doing it live.
Yeah, doing it live. All right.
So all right, here we go.
Let's do this.
Favorite time of day, man.
Also, feel free in the chat if you have a name that you want us to throw in the bingo card. We might just get in there. Yeah, throw it at us. We might just put them on there.
We'll see.
So if you have a pitcher, hitter, whatever it is, let us know. Throw us a name in the chat and we'll add them to the card. All right, Bryan, who are we starting with, man?
So my top pitcher today, not top, but for bingo purposes, I like Ronaldo Lopez for the Braves. I think he's got some juice to him. My second option, I'm picking a guy who could go either way. This could be really good or really bad. It was Matthew Liberatore. He's pitching for the Cardinals.
Okay, let's just search.
Yeah, so LIB.
There
you go.
All right, we need
And
one more
then
pitcher.
Number 3, Jordan Montgomery. I'm all in on the Jordan Montgomery hype train. I'm really hoping that he keeps bouncing back.
Yeah, if you're on the fence about Jordan Montgomery, Bryan Woo.
I'll do my best to sway you. Yeah, I'll push you over the fence. That's fine.
Justin also said, I lost it. Justin said, I bet I've hit over $25 in the last 10 days. Second best game you had behind bingo. Shout out to you.
We try.
We're glad we're giving back when we're there. It's a lot of fun. All right. We need some infielders.
All right, dude. Nico Horner.
Nico.
He did it against Paul Skenes. He can do it against anybody. You know?
I think that's our first time putting Nico on the list.
I think it is.
Hey, if he, like you said, if he did it against Paul, he belongs there.
So,
all right.
My second pick is Josh Naylor.
Josh, you're a big Josh Naylor fan,
dude. Are they not? Oh wait, they're not playing today, are they?
Spelled his name wrong.
Are they playing?
They're playing
right?
Texas.
Okay, good. I was like, I can't remember who's not playing. It's either the Twins or the Guardians. So then outfielders. So I've got on my list Jerks and Profar first. They're playing the Rockies at home, but we've talked about Profar being kind of that forgotten guy. So I really like what he's doing. And then I've got Brent Rooker.
Ooh.
I believe he's still got outfield eligibility on Rival, but he might still be a DH.
Yeah, I think he's a DH.
Okay, so in that case,
utility.
Yeah, so I got Brent Rooker for sure. Oh, he's not showing up.
Damn, what's going on?
Our A's are getting.
There we go.
Oof. And then, so I got to pivot on outfielders.
Outfielder. Yep.
So I think maybe this is we'll kind of hedge. We'll put Yelich in here too. Actually, you know what? No, Tommy Pham. Let's see if Tommy Pham is available today.
Okay. I accidentally clicked on your boy Tucker.
I mean, I'd take that too. We're trying to mix it up. We're trying to give you guys, something good. And then
do you guys ever purposely select a bad play for bingo, since there are sometimes negative achievements? Yes,
that's why we got Matthew Liberatore in there, because he's either going to have a really great game or he's going to get rocked. Same with Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham could easily go 0-4 with 3 strikeouts.
Yep.
So that's it. That's just kind of the name of the game with this, right?
Yeah, we definitely play both sides.
And then I think utility, we go kind of chalk. I'm thinking either Shohei Ohtani or we go with Marcell Ozuna, 2 of the hottest hitters in baseball.
Let's go Ozuna.
There he is. Let's do it.
There he is.
I think that's a juicy little lineup for a Monday.
It is. I like it. I'm excited about this one. I think we're going to do good here, man. I think we're going to do good. We'll buy 5 cards.
Love it.
And we'll give our chance a shot, man. And whoever keeps winning, damn you, that pool.
Yeah, stop it.
It's not me. It's not me. I'm getting angry.
Stop winning.
Every time we come in here, every day, I see that damn pool drop, recycle. And I just see the money fly back up, fly back down. And I don't end up with winning cards. I'm getting angry.
Come on,
I got to put more cards out there, man. I got to put more cards out there.
You got to spend money to make money. That's what they say.
Absolutely. And now that we have done our challenges and we've done our bingo cards of the day, it's time for some best ball, man. It's time for some best ball.
And I think today, Neil, we get to do a 4-person.
I think we do. We have 2. Okay, so we have 2 options. I'm already in this $25 one if you want to get crazy. And then otherwise, there's a $3 one that neither of you have joined, and a $5 one. Yeah, I think potentially, or no, at least a $3 one, right? Yeah. So which one do you want to get into? Or of course, we could do a daily one, whatever you prefer.
You know what? I think we do the $25 weekly. Let's
have some fun.
Go for it. I'm gonna join it right now. We're gonna get that clock started. So I think this might be the first time we've done a weekly on the stream, because it lined up well. So I think it is. This is now where we get into this is where 2-star pitchers come in handy. This is where we start looking at, like we were talking about with some of the guys, play 10 cards to build. Thanks, man. Hey, if everybody buys 10 cards today, it's just going to be more fun. Just go.
Someone's going to be a happy winner. That's for sure.
Yeah, go buy 10 cards. And guess what? If nobody wins, it rolls over.
Exactly.
So you ain't losing the money. You're just, you're putting it in escrow for your future win.
All right. What am I going to do here? Now, this is a week-long one, so I definitely got to queue some players up.
Yeah. You got to queue some players. And then this is where, 2-star pitchers come in handy. you'll see that on the website. Hey, I got to update some of the stuff, but you'll see our 2-star pitchers are up as well. So, now it becomes a question of, do you go for those guys? Because we have a lot of studs in the 2-star pitchers this week.
Right.
Got a lot of guys who are pitching today as well. So, what does that look like? And then are you going for guys who don't play today, but you're going to get some out of them tomorrow? Like we just talked about, like Ryan Jeffers is a great example. Doesn't play today, but he's a great catching option if you need one. So,
yeah. And again, 2-star pitchers doesn't necessarily mean it's the best route, right? Obviously, there's different ways to attack this. It's just one of the strategies. So
it's
always
maximizing the potential out of your best ball starters.
Right. So it's like something you go into considering, kind of keeping an eye on, but you don't have to commit to it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's definitely worth, keeping it in mind as you go through it.
Yeah. And I think it's just, we haven't talked about it enough in the context of like, because people don't really think about it as a weekly draft scenario. I think we're one of the only places, that really focus on it for a DFS perspective. And I think, Neil, looks like we have a question about 2 starts as well.
Oh, do we? Aaron George, where do the weaker 2-star pitchers and the single-star pitchers even out? I'm trying to decide who to say. That's an excellent question from Aaron George here. That is an absolutely fantastic question.
And I'm going to say it depends, right? Because a good example this week is Jordan Hicks. He gets the Dodgers first, which, on paper, not a good matchup. Hasn't been as bad as normal as past years. Right. But then he gets the Rockies at home, right? So the Rockies in San Francisco. So, you look at it as like, is one of the matchups so good that you're willing to risk getting a lower output from that second start? So in that situation, right, Jordan Hicks, I'll take the shot on him because I think, yes, the Dodgers will be a little dicey, but he's at home. And then he gets the Rockies, who that lineup is middling at best, right? And then Sean Manaea, great example too, right? Gets the Phillies today. They've been an absolute buzzsaw for 2-star pitchers, but then he gets the Marlins in the back half of the week. So I think it's when you get down to those guys who, if you're looking purely at matchups, and then you have to look at how they performed historically this season. So that's where I get it. But when you get studs like Imanaga, Burns, who else? Yamamoto, Cutter Crawford. I'm looking at my list. Reynaldo Lopez, Walker Buehler, Tanner Bibby is one that's kind of the line where I'm like, okay, maybe you can start thinking about not worrying about it. Jose Barrios, same situation, right? He gets the Orioles today, but then he gets the Rays, whose lineup has been struggling. So Aaron, to answer your question without answering it, I look at matchups first, and then is that risk worth the reward if it's a bad matchup? And then how have they been doing historically against teams of a similar caliber this season?
Right.
But then some of them, the starts are just so good. Like, again, Jordan Hicks against the Rockies, he's going to absolutely feast as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
So
that's a great question from Aaron, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Aaron. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you like this episode. Hopefully you're subscribed. If you're not, please do so. We definitely love you guys joining the conversation, whether it's a question, whether it's just taking part in the conversation. It doesn't matter. We appreciate you guys all the same. We actually have less than 10 seconds now, Bryan, before this draft starts. And you actually get the honors of having the first pick.
I do, which is, I'm not used to it. I'm not used to having the top pick in any draft. So
will you go with a stud hitter, outfielder, infielder? What will you do?
This is where it gets tough. But I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to take Corbin Burns at the 101.
Okay.
I like his matchups too much this week.
I'm not going to take long. I'm going to go right behind you. Got me some Shota.
Yep. I was hoping Shota would come back to me.
Not happening. Not with me, Bryan. Yeah. Not with me.
Yeah, I know. And that was where I'm making the distinction purely because Imanaga has Atlanta tonight and Burns has Toronto. That's really where I'm splitting hairs.
Yeah, for sure.
So
now D Dice here has not joined. He had 5 minutes already to join. So my guess is he's going to auto draft.
He's probably going to auto draft, which, good and bad, right? It takes the guesswork out of it for you. Hopefully he set his queue, which we we encourage everybody to set your queue as soon as you enter a draft. So that way, if you are not able to join, at least you have gotten some of your picks that you do want.
Yeah, because the auto draft won't be your friend unless you put something in. So it looks like he did because it's well, maybe he did. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that's kind of
man. So we got
Stevens. Stevens, are you watching, buddy?
I think he's over here stream sniping us.
Oh man, that is killer.
Yeah, that's a good combo. But now, right? He's gone 2 pitchers, so you got to worry about the rest of your lineup. You got a lot of hitters to outfit here too.
I actually think I might match him though.
Yeah, you got to go back to backs.
I think I am.
Okay. Aaron Nola is a great pick this week too, man. I really like it.
And by the way, I think, did he pick 2 pitchers that were both 2-star pitchers? He did.
Yes.
So right now, all of us have drafted 2-star pitchers, I think, right?
Yep. Which is, that's part of the game, right? So, so now I'm kind of staring down. Okay, do I go for another 2-star guy, or do I just pick some of the studs?
What will Bryan do? What will Bryan do?
Come on, I'm going to pick the MLB home run leader. He gets the A's this week. Of course, I'm going to pick Kyle Tucker. And then, we'll go down the list. I'm going to pick a guy he's probably going to, man, I don't know. Now I'm torn, right? Because we got some guys who are struggling. But I'm going to take Bryce Harper. I'm going to take Harper and
okay, he went Bryce Harper.
Yeah, man.
All right, he went hitters.
Yeah, I went hitters. I like. I feel more comfortable when I've got one of each position going into the next.
No, I understand. Round. I understand. I think I'm just gonna knock out my third 2-star pitcher.
Yep.
Dice has got 3 good.
Oh, and he's in. Now he's here.
Dice showed up.
See, we're doing it live, guys. This is the beauty of doing it live. Yeah, the 3rd round tilt is real. It's and when you this is where it gets competitive, right? When you have an active daily or weekly draft like this, now you start to see, okay, I got to start making some tough decisions.
Yep.
What does it look like because I, punted until the 3rd round for position players versus pitchers? There's a lot of strategy involved when you get to this stage.
There is. And again, guys, reminder, you can look at the player cards if you just want a quick refresher on how guys are playing just off the top of your head, because things do get heated, things do get tight. You start to feel the pressure when you're in here. So let's see. Todd said, "Don't start to."
That might be the best piece of advice that we've got given all day, and we didn't give it. Don't 2-star JP Sears. Don't do it. Not worth that juice. Ain't worth the squeeze.
No. Let's see what D Dice does. I'm interested now that he's here.
So now he's here. He's still got some studs. And for a weekly draft, that's a hell of a start.
Yeah.
So now, and then Neil, you have like more flexibility weirdly, because you've got your pitchers. So now all you have to worry about is filling out your offense, which is interesting. Yeah. And so now Dice is punted on pitching, which is an interesting move in the 4th.
It is. What do I do here? I kind of
need offense, my friend.
I do need offense, obviously, here, Bryan. I obviously need offense, and I have 20 seconds to decide who I start that offense with. I really, 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 really think I'm gonna grab a Yankee, man.
I figured you might. I thought, you love your Juan Soto, man. I get it.
I think I'm gonna grab one.
All right, why not? Why not? Money where my mouth is. We'll go with some Elly De La Cruz here.
Not mad at it.
I'm gonna go for some steals upside this week. And then, so now I've got 2 infielders, got 1 outfielder, 1 pitcher. So feeling okay.
Don't give Bryan advice here, man. Don't be giving Bryan advice. Looking for Reed Detmer's bounce back. Cards look awful.
Yeah,
don't help him, Todd.
Todd, I'm hoping that Detmers figures it out, because you're right. He's one of the more frustrating pitchers. He should be so much better than he is. Okay, so now I'm in between a rock and a hard place, but I
put the pressure on you, solo cam. I love it.
I can't say no. You guys make the pick. There you go.
Oh,
not worried about Shohei. He's going to be back in the lineup tonight.
Okay,
I love it. I love that I got Shohei in the 5th. So thank you guys for that. You're
taking some shots, man. I respect it. I respect the shots you're taking. I do kind of need an infielder. Which way do I want to turn for this though? I don't want to let my Mets bias get a hold of me. We talked about my boy here playing well so far this week. I love Gunnar too, man. I've been using Gunnar all the time.
Yeah.
He's playing the Blue Jays, but I think I want to go Gunnar.
Yeah. If he made it back to me, he was going to be on my squad. So I mixed it up a little bit. I feel like I take Gunnar every time
I end up doing that a lot too.
Yeah, why not? Why if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's true.
All right. So now we're looking at Judge gone, which I like. So now Dice has got that's a really scary team.
He needs pitchers. He's saving pitchers.
Yeah.
He's saving pitchers to the end. It's obvious at this point.
So I like that. So now he and I are kind of in that.
Altuve's a good pick.
Altuve is a great pick here.
He actually went to Astros. He likes the Athletics matchup probably this week. So I'm not mad at that. I was actually considering that too. And plus, Taveras, I added Shohei to my bingo cards. Hope he bet on the Dodgers. This guy here. Hope he bet on the Dodgers. This guy. Don't slander Shohei. No Shohei slander shall prosper.
Shohei slander here. Not until we see the true story in the Lionsgate production of the Shohei Ohtani story.
But I will give you the joke.
That's where all the facts will come out.
You will get the joke drums, Justin, but no Shohei slander is allowed here.
So, all right. So Dice on the clock.
Let's
18 seconds left.
I'm assuming these are all going to be pitchers. I think he's going to go another hitter.
Yeah. So he needs one utility as well. But I think he may fill out his offense before he goes any pitching.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. And that's what we got, right?
Now it's me.
So now you go. But the world's your oyster here.
Yeah, it is. But man,
because you can pick anybody. I mean, you're sitting pretty as far as
I can.
Structure.
You're right. You're right, Brian. I can. And you know where I'm going to go?
Where are you going to go?
Boop.
We'll see. Dang, dude, you keep sniping.
Let's go, a little CJ Abrams action.
Oh man,
and they got the White Sox coming up this week. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. All right, so now I gotta do outfield. I gotta get a utility player, and I need 2 more pitchers. So, Guy even mentioned earlier who I would take over most folks off of waivers right now. But I'm between 2 guys, but I am gonna go put my money where my mouth is. I'll take Taylor Ward, finish out my outfield. I like the matchup, especially against the Cardinals to start the week.
Yeah.
So now I got a decision to make. I think this is where I start looking at pitching. So now I'm gonna get into some of my 2 start.
Yeah, because you only got 1 pitcher so far.
I only got 1 pitcher so far. So I think if he is still there, which I believe he is, very very easy pick for me. I'm going to take Cutter Crawford.
Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with one of the players we spoke about for Rivals of the Week, second week in a row on the list. I actually got to pull them up under utility. I'm not afraid of no Astros pitchers. All right.
You shouldn't be. So,
while we're in the draft and we have time here, Michael said, okay with dropping minutes for Toro or Rojas or wait it out.
I don't hate it. If you're just playing redraft, I think you could go either Toro or Rojas. I like them both. They're both going to be in my waiver article that's going to be out. So I like them both. Jimenez, he's very touch and go. So, I don't hate it if you need to start winning now. Especially because I think he only has shortstop eligibility. So you are giving that up. Or I guess he's a second baseman. So yeah, I would go either Toro or Rojas. Go Rojas because he's a start of he's top of the lineup guy. If I had to pick.
There you have it. He said he likes multiple positions.
Yeah.
All right, I need an outfielder. I'm kind of tempted to go Suzuki since he's back. Get a little.
He is, and he's gonna start figuring out that swing pretty quick.
Yeah. Give him a shot.
All right. So what do you have left, Neil? What do you need?
I just need a utility. I like to save utility for the end if I can.
So I need utility and I need another pitcher. So now it's a question of where do I go? But I think if he's still there, No, he's not. Someone already take him. Oh, yeah. Yes. Justin took Yamamoto at the top. So I think I'll again going to put some money where my mouth is here. And oh gosh.
2 hours later.
All right, I'll take Riley Green to get my utility because I'm comfortable with that. Now I've got 45 more seconds to find my guy for my pitchers, and I'm gonna take Jordan Hicks. Put my money where my mouth is. Scary matchup against the Phillies. Don't care. Full send.
Respect, man. All right, I'm gonna go with the man who's been playing really well in my utility.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, we love it. We love a DH utility.
Look how D Dice finished up.
Yeah, that's it. Honestly, not bad. The Mitch Keller pick is ballsy.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I think he's due for a bounce back. And against Milwaukee, not a bad bet.
Let us know, guys. Let us know in the comments who you think killed this draft here. Who do you think is going to win this week? This is for this week. This is all week long. It's not one day. Let us know who you think has the better team here. Everyone drafted a little differently. Bryan started pitcher, but he, ended pitchers kind of. D Dice never went pitchers to the end, so he ended them. Me and Stevens both started 2 pitchers. He waited till his last pitcher. I took mine right away, so I went 3 in a row. There's so many different builds here. So I'm just curious what the people in the comments think, or you guys in the chat here. We got some stuff going on here. Doesn't Rojas platoon?
He did, but he hasn't been of late. And I think that's because of the Crawford situation. So he and Toro both have pretty decent playing time.
Aaron George says Chris Paddock.
I like Chris Paddock as a pitcher. I don't know about fantasy wise. It feels like you're just always sitting on the edge of your seat when you watch him pitch. So
Toilets, the titles. Is Skenes playing tonight?
Nope. He pitched on Saturday. And so that probably lines him up for a Thursday start. If I was guessed, Thursday, Friday. So he'll play again this week.
Michael Mendez said both Rojas and Toro safe for playing time.
Yeah, they both are. And again, those teams are pretty volatile. So I think, at least for the next week, you're good. Toro might be safer in the long run, just given what the Athletics have. But I think Rojas probably has a little more upside, just given his top of the order potential.
Yeah. Aaron George also said Chris P or T Bradley or B Woo, Crochet, and Scott. Hey, Taj Bradley, boys.
I mean, it's Taj Bradley. It's Taj Bradley. Then Christian Scott. If it's Christian Scott, I don't know. There's several Scotts who are. If it's Trevor, is Trevor Scott? No. So yeah, I think. And then probably Crochet.
I said Crockett one for sure, and then he said Scott Bradley Woo scary.
See, Taj Bradley doesn't scare me.
We're the Bradley boys. We can't be scared.
I can't be scared. I said earlier, the Woo, his arm is concerning. I don't know what's going on there, but hey, Todd, look, I like it. Hey, send me a challenge. Well, next time Crochet and Bradley pitch on the same day, let's do it. I'll throw down. Let's do it. But yeah, I'll take Taj Bradley over those. And then, probably Scott if it's Christian Scott, then Crochet, then Paddock, then Woo. Just until Woo is back and stretched out fully.
Todd said Woo scary, not Taj, and then he said, "Let's do it."
There it is, man. We'll do it.
Todd's talking.
I love it, man.
Brian, what's your username so Todd can find you if he needs to?
BK Oldham, spelled like Old Ham.
BK Oldham.
There you go, guys. Find me on Rival. Come call me out. Let's do this thing. I'm ready to roll.
You can find me at Clock Dodgers if you want to. I'm a Taj Bradley boy, so if you send it, I'm accepting it. So it is what it is. That's how it works for me, man. I'm not gonna back down. I'm not gonna stand down. Todd said Miggy Todd Best. That's his name, his username on there.
All right, we're gonna throw down. I'm gonna figure out when.
I've definitely drafted with you, Todd, for sure.
I think
because that name looks familiar. So I've definitely been in some drafts with you, no question. And by the way, guys, like I'm pulling up. Right now, there's like tons of best ball drafts, like waiting. Like there's only one spot left in this one. There's 2 spots left in this one. There's a couple daily ones that one will fill up in just one more person in there. There's some NBA ones going. So, if you guys haven't drafted yet today, definitely get on there. User on Rival is just starting to use your site. Awesome, man. Yeah. I mean, the site, and also there's gonna be some updates coming too, Brian, right? Like let's let them know, man. Like you're about to see a revamp challenges system that
Yeah,
we're really
challenges
excited
is about
about.
to get a massive overhaul. So I donate daily. Oh, that's hilarious. That's funny. Yeah, Justin, thank you for your contributions to our bankrolls. We appreciate that immensely. But no, yeah, challenge is going to get a very, very nice overall here soon. Going to look like a completely different game. Going to be the same nuts and bolts of what you know and
Yeah.
love, but going to be so much sexier than what you guys. Yep. So Todd,
You're about to
buckle up,
find
my
out, Todd.
friends.
Yeah.
I don't want to give specific dates because every time I do, something goes awry. But I think by this time next week,
Yeah.
challenges is going to be overhauled, and it looks really good, guys. So
It
really,
looks
we're really
good.
excited to show you.
It's not just a look overhaul either.
No, it
there
is
will
a
be a new play-in overhaul type style
yeah,
stuff.
UX, UI, gameplay, the whole kick it social challenges is going to be completely redone, renamed. So be on the lookout. Emails going out soon. The launch is happening. It's going to be big. It's going to be a good one for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate it again. We appreciate your guys' support. We appreciate you guys liking the episode, subscribing to the channel, just interacting with us, join the discussion, whether it's questions, whether you're answering other people's questions, whether you're not agreeing with us, you are agreeing with us, it doesn't matter. Like we love your guys' interaction. So we really appreciate, the continued support. Again, if you want to find us on socials, if you're not already following us there, X, Instagram, TikTok, all at Rival Fantasy. Obviously you're on the YouTube, so you know where that's at. Todd said, awesome deposit coming.
There it is.
Shout out to you. And then of course, obviously if you want to listen to just audio, we're on the audio platforms, but rivalfantasy.com is where you want to play at, or you can download the Rival Fantasy app. If you're watching right now, Michael Mendez said, appreciate it. We appreciate you, Michael. We appreciate you more than you appreciate us. If you don't believe it, I'm promising you that's what it is. You guys are what makes this go around and why we do this. So there's no question about it. But again, if you haven't downloaded the app yet, you never created a username, you never deposited, there's a link in the description of this episode right now that'll get you a great sweet bonus that you really want to take advantage of. So do that. Other than that, Brian, am I missing anything? Did we cover everything?
Yeah, I think we covered as much as we could. That's a long stream. You guys are troopers. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to me jab about stuff.
That was like almost 2 hours, guys. We pushed to 2 hours this week.
Do it for you, the people.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it. So guys, we appreciate you. We appreciate the discussion, the conversation, everything. We will catch you on the next episode, Brian. We're out.